first question is my favourite food. I can say with a great deal of confidence that my favourite food is Mama Co's bread. She it's probably hands down the best thing I've ever eaten. She has a very particular way of making her bread. It's not for everyone. Um, but it suits me just fine. It's comes out very dark and cracked, and the charcoal crust around the outside is simply beautiful. And once she learned how to introduce other flavours like lemons and bits of zest and spices, it just made for a perfect dish. Her bread is the best thing I have ever eaten. I've yet to taste anything that would taste it. And, well, I know it's not for everyone. You asked for what my favourite food was, and that's what it is. That's that question done. It'd be done quicker than I thought. Right, that's the next one. Right, next question. Fondest memory. Okay, this one's a little more difficult to answer. I have quite a few fond memories from my childhood through to my adolescence and to the here and now. And to be honest, I'm not sure I can choose just one memory to be my favourite or my fondest memory. But the storytelling nights we have at home, and the bonfire and the music and the dancing. Well, I suppose memories of home I'll always look along fondly. Always have a cherished place in my heart, I suppose. Memories of home are and foreign land. So I suppose my fondest memories are of my home and of my people. Yes, anyhow, next question. Who is your best friend? Ah, well, I'm not actually too sure how to answer this question. To be honest, I'm not too sure if I have one. Not, not really. Anyhow, the one there was one person could suppose I could call my best friend, but I'm not too sure that they would call me theirs anymore. It's yeah. So I suppose to answer your question, I don't think I have a best friend. At least it's a bit complicated to answer. Yes and no, I suppose. Gosh, okay. The next question, please don't let it be difficult. And oh, well, I suppose I asked for this. What is your favourite plant? Firstly, this is a foolish question. You, you honestly want me to show any form of favoritism for any of my plants? That's that's ludicrous. It's completely insane. I can't choose a favourite. I can't put one plant as my favourite plant. They're all they're all very, very unique and wonderful. I don't have a favourite one because I love all of them. They're all brilliant in their own way, and to say that one of them is my favourite, well, it would do a dishonour to the genus of most of these plants. I can't really say I have a favourite. They're all nice. I love them all. They're all brilliant. I will say that I do tend to have a small, I suppose, fondness for my little hybrids. Things like the snappadills, and I've recently been developing some different plants. There was, what was it? I'm calling it a fire flower, but I don't think that's quite accurate. It's a weird mix of chili peppers and some other little floras, but the goal is to rather much have it spit fire. Don't ask me why. That's just what it wants to do. Oh, and the light bulbs. I have I hear apparently people use electricity to light their homes here, which is interesting. But I've found that if you just breed some particular bioluminescent moss and other bioluminescent materials with other plants, they can make for some very interesting light sources, and motion sensitive as well, if you breed them right. But to answer the question, no, I don't really have a specific favourite. I love all of my plants. Right, okay, that's that done. Wonderful. Next question. How tall are you? Oh, it's been a while since I've been to an actual doctor's visit, in terms of taking general measurements and health sort of things, I suppose. I don't think that fellow I took Chifley to particularly counts. He did not give me a check over, nor would I ever let him give me a check over, considering. The last time I checked, I was about 4'2", perhaps a little shorter. But take that with a pinch of sand. Let's just say that there are some dwarves back home who are likely taller than me. That's that one. Next question. Were you always transparent? Yes. To some degree, yes, I have always been transparent. Okay, next question. Who were you friends with when you were growing up? Okay. Okay, so when I was growing up, well, other children within the clan, I suppose, were my friends, children of neighbours and of other people around. Sometimes the children from the mountain would be escorted by their parents or come down with their parents who were trying a different trade out in down in near the mines, and well, they'd come down and play, and we would play in the mines, and we would play strange little games of chicken. How far down a mine shaft can you go without any light if you have to come back? Most of the orcs and dwarves could go further than I could because they have night vision. I didn't realise this when I was very young, and well, I was a bit of a stubborn brat, and I kept going further than they would, and they could see things that I couldn't, but I kept doing it anyway. I suppose I'm quite lucky that nothing actually happened whilst I was down there, but they're not exactly dangerous places to be. The mines are... well, that's where our neighbours are anyhow, and if someone were to get lost down there, or God forbid, or heck forbid hurt, well, our neighbours would bring us out, and they'd bring us back. A lot of people would probably find it weird to have a kid playing in the mines, but not the neighbours. If we weren't down there, we'd probably be out in the woods, just camping for the night. We do have specific camping areas, or at least there's a radius around it, the clan perimeter, where beyond that point you are no longer protected, or at least there's no more patrols, as it were, because the woods around where I live, they are full of creatures, beings, and animals that will very much like to snack on smaller beings. Don't worry, we were never sent out unarmed. We all at least had a knife or a hand axe of some sort, because, quite frankly, don't, if your children are going out by themselves camping, don't send them out unarmed, please, don't do that. It's, I mean, either send a warrior or some competent adult out with them, or make sure they are armed to the teeth and know how to use those teeth. There seems to be a thing in Inkwell where kids aren't prepared for adventure and they just go out looking for it. Yes, that's those were children in the village I played with, but we did on occasion sometimes merchants and travellers stopping by with their children, but not many were brave enough to play with the big scary mountain people and their children. At least I think a lot of the visitors were here for business and not pleasure, so they tended to try and keep their children away, I think. But there was someone when I was younger who I thought I was particularly close to. But they're gone now, and it's everything's all the better for it. So that's that. So yes, I play with is who are my friends, other village children, and occasionally visitors. How did you come to have snappadills? Now, this one is interesting, actually. So, again, it's because of my, people. Basically, I have, how to say this? So, my people are hunters and gatherers primarily. We hunt for our food mostly. Our diets are mostly carbohydrates, proteins, things like deer, fish, lots of meats products, and foraging for herbs and potatoes and tomatoes and things like that. We do have small gardens for the vegetables, but nothing substantial, nothing of a farming scale. We don't farm cows or pigs or chickens like most places do. And most importantly, we don't actually farm wheat or oats. We have to actually trade for those. And what tends to happen is a caravan goes out, guarded caravan, obviously. Can't go out without a guarded caravan. We get mugged immediately. I mean, well, I say we get mugged. No one has I don't think I've met, or I don't think I've heard of anyone that has actually tried to rob one of our caravans in at least 5 years. Well, the 5 years before I left, at least. Should hope that that's still the case. But anyhow, we would go and trade for oats and wheat and, well, to put it bluntly, we didn't get the best goods for our trade. I would like to say that it's because of, well, quite frankly, speaking very frankly, where they went, if they tend to go and try and trade in the bigger city, like Jack of Alls, and let's just say that the people of Jack of Alls aren't always so friendly to the mountain people. So we didn't get the best quality, which meant pests, like rats. Typically, it was things like rats and just things that infested the food and spoiled it long before it could get back to my clan. So initially, we had to think of a way to fight off the rats, and our first thoughts were cats, because cats eat rats, as you might think. So we started with cats, and the issue with that was that, yes, the cats did fight off the rats, but the cats also, well, they did their business wherever they went, and sometimes they did their business in the food sacks, which was counterproductive. And also sometimes they would wander away from the caravan on the few times that we stopped. And a lone animal out in the woods, where we live, is lockjaw jackal meat, basically. You don't often... if you meet a lockjaw jackal in the woods, just one, have a chance of surviving. If you meet a pack, well, you somehow meet a pack and come back alive, I'm pretty sure you get a badge of honor or a very, very interesting story to tell at the fire. Because, they will eat anything. And it's safe to say that, oh, that didn't work out for very long. So I thought, because to get back to the point of how I came to have the snappadeals, well, lockjaw jackals eat anything. They will eat fruits, they will eat vegetables, they will eat proteins, they will eat anything. I saw one once try to eat a bee straight off of a flower. They didn't eat the flower. I have noticed they don't eat the plants. So I thought, well, what if we made some plants, or bred some plants, that, well, that they wouldn't eat, and that would snap back if they tried. And that's where the idea came from, and I went to college. And yes, I did go to college. When I went to college, I fiddled around with this for about a year before I left to Inkwell. And from there, it's funny. I noticed compared my my Toonkind snappadeals to my real kind counterparts. It's interesting because the Toonkind ones seemed a lot more active, and they tended to take the initiative more than the real kind ones, which were more reactive. And as nice and functional as reactive snappadeals would be against anything like rats, I feel like a more proactive plant would actually be better. I'm not sure if it's because of the magic involved, or if it's just something ambient in the air of the inkwell. I'm not too sure. It's something I need to look into. But, yes, that's how I came upon the idea of snappadeals. Rats, basically. Rats and infestations in the wheat and oat byproducts that we get. Okay, next question, let's have a look. Oh, this one is from Drew. Right, okay. Don't know why you can ask me this to my face, but okay. Drew, what have you got to say? When can I get a raise? Okay. Listen. Drew, it's Drew, as we've already discussed, you will be given paid leave for the work undertaken whilst I was indisposed. And last I recall, when I offered to give you more money, you refused. So, if you want a raise, come and tell me directly so we can discuss this without passing notes like college frat boys. Please. Don't send me notes. Just come speak to me. Right, once I've done this, I suppose we'll have to get Sol to come and fetch you to come and discuss this. Yes. Why? When can you get a raise? Come tell me yourself. Basically, right, this next question is from... Oh, okay, this is from Wes. Okay. Wes says, why are you so mean to... I don't know literally everyone, if I had to guess. That's verbatim, by the way. That's exactly what he wrote, and... Okay. Listen, I'm only going to say this once. One man's manners is another man's cuss. Perhaps I could speak with pleases and thank yous and may I's, but that wouldn't be me. You would be getting a polite, amenable, and altogether fake person to converse with, and where I'm from, that sort of behaviour is frowned upon or treated with suspicion. People are crude, basic animals with crude, basic wants, and to try and hide that under a veneer of civility or politeness instead of the honesty of yourself is disquieting. Only one who speaks with any diplomacy where I'm from is the clan council chiefs, as they usually are the ones to settle disputes within the clan as well as be the main force of, what's the word, communication with outsiders. So, to summarise, Wes, I'm so mean to, I don't know, I guess everyone, is because well-meaning banter, and sometimes, occasionally physical jabs at one another, it's how I was raised. And I shan't abandon that just to make other people more comfortable with me. If you don't like me as I am, then quite frankly, Wes, shut up and put up. That's the best thing, the best way I can explain it. I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not. I'm not going to pretend falsities and niceness when I'm not. It's not how I was raised, and it's not how I'm going to be doing things. Okay, that's that question. Next question on the list. When was the last time you rode Sol into the sunset? Oh, okay. I presume this just simply means, when was the last time you tried to ride Sol? And the answer to that is quite a few years ago. Because, believe it or not, I have tried to ride Sol when I was a lot younger, when Sol was just about the right size. Gosh, this this was definitely before I went to college, maybe a year or so. I tried it out because I thought it would be an interesting idea. I thought it'd be cool. Well, let's just say you need a certain kind of lower body strength I didn't have. Just to ride a normal horse. Now, I don't know if anyone has met Sol, but if you have, you'll know what I'm about to talk about. If you haven't, Sol is a very energetic being. They are energetic and excitable and full of life and verve, and as much as I care for them, they have no patience. They have very little concept of stopping and waiting. It is very difficult to get them to do that anytime. So, I don't really think riding the soul is going to be something I can do. We could do some sort of saddle rig, but I don't really don't want to try that. We've already set up a system that works for us. Usually Sol releases some vines or grows some vines and latches onto the side of my wheelchair, and I can direct them from there with my whip. Typically, it works for us. We've developed a system that works, and I probably won't be riding them anytime soon. Not unless there isn't really another option. Yeah, no, the last time I rode Sol into the sunset is never, because the last time I rode Sol, I fell off. Multiple times. Okay, next question, I suppose. That's that. Where did that cursed teapot come from? I genuinely don't know. I woke up one morning and it was sitting on the living room stump, and I assume it was from one person in particular, but they're usually far more thorough about their research, so unless the pot was heavily spelled or they were otherwise coerced, I mean, the only other possibility is that they did it on purpose, but anyhow, to answer your question, I don't know where the pot came from or how it got in the house. How did Sol get in there? I presume you mean the pot. Well, how did Sol get anywhere? I mean, no, really. If you could tell me how Sol got inside of that teapot, I would love to hear it. They've gotten really rather good at contortion recently. To the point where I almost mistook them for an awakened bush once, a living tumbleweed. It was. I'm thankful it wasn't at night, because if I had seen Sol coming towards me at night, I may or may not have felt a certain reactive instinct towards something I cannot identify coming very quickly towards me at night, and I'm very thankful that they don't do that. But no, I have no idea how Sol got in there. I don't know how Sol gets into most places. They somehow manage to squeeze themselves into the sink, and they're the size of a horse. The sink is not horse-sized. I don't know how they do this, but seem to have fun with it, so I suppose as long as they're enjoying themselves as well. Right, that's that one done. How do you like your tea? Well, I like my tea unlike anyone else I know. Rather similarly to how I like my bread, the more burnt it is, the better. The tannins and the bitterness are, well, they're rather calming for me. I mean, well, if you do it properly, and by properly I mean without a, people put their tea in bags here, as in, it's just a bag of tea, no leaves. I mean, I can't eat the, I technically shouldn't eat the bags. You shouldn't, because I don't know why, but apparently you shouldn't eat the bags. So I've had to, at times I've just had to sort of cut the bags open and then dump the grounds in. Because some of the best part of your tea is being able to chew on the leaves afterwards. Get the extra bitterness out. That's some of my favourite parts of having a cup of tea. The bitterness of the drink itself is nice, but it's really the leaves that make it. And as for a specific type of tea that I like, well, I know that I like it. I like chai tea, which to people that know how to make chai tea the proper way sounds ludicrous. Because you're supposed to make chai tea with plenty of milk and sweetener, but I don't. I don't put milk in, I don't put sweetener, I just steep it until it stinks to mountain pig and back. And then I do as you do with tea, and then I eat the leaves afterwards, because why not? It's good for you. Well, it's good for me at least. It tastes good for me. Yes, that's how I like my tea. Burnt and bitter. Not to everyone's specifications. But also very easy to make. So you really can't fuck up making me a cup of tea. Just leave it in long enough, and I'll be happy. Right, next question. What season is your favourite? Well, I suppose it would have to be autumn. All the seasons have their good points for me, but I suppose it's something about watching things quieten down and watching the world slow its breathing, so that it can rest before the inevitable spring reawakening. Spring is rebirth, winter is sort of stasis, a sort of sleep, and summer is, well, summer is bright and joyful and vivid. Autumn is just very calm, and I enjoy that. So yes, my favourite season would probably have to be autumn. Right, next question. Do you have a tail? Yes. Right, okay, next question. Let's see. Most exciting place I found a nice plant. Well, I have found lots of different plants from all over. The nicest, or well, the most exciting, I suppose, was when I first came to Inkwell. I hadn't actually found my flat yet, or my apartment, whatever you guys call it. I hadn't found it yet, and Sol and I were sort of pottering, meandering around, looking for places to be and do and such. And we stumbled upon an adventurers guild, and it's actually where I met Tsura, who lives, at least who tends to putter about the farm out the way. Yes, I met Tessura and another person. Oh, Liam. Liam is a living tree, and they are absolutely wonderful. Oh my goodness. The last time I haven't seen Liam in ages. I hope he's alright. I really should check up. I should see if I can check up on him. He's a giant tree. He's just a giant tree, and he is very wonderful. He is very, very, very wonderful. An absolute dear, and I should probably try and see if I can find him again, because I need to make sure he is doing alright, and that he's making sure his roots are clean, and that he's not drinking any polluted water, because that was really not good for him. But anyway, the plant. Right, the plant. He went to Adventurers Guild, picked up a job, and basically we had to go into this mansion and find out what was going on. Oh god, that's where we met these three. I don't even know what to call them. Probably not something I can say in any sort of company. But essentially, they were chasing a goose, and apparently they nicked the goose from a giant. So, whilst they were busy causing trouble in this mansion, I had a little putter around, and I found some very interesting plants. Oh goodness, I found a couple of fungi, one of which makes you uncontrollably sneeze. Don't ask how I found that out. Another which just tastes really good. I'm actually probably going to poke Phoenix and see if they would like some. I think they have a fungal garden. They might be able to put these to good use, get them to grow properly. But the actual, I suppose the nicest plant, or the most useful, was I actually found it. I found it growing in a room, and it's now actually it's part of my wallpaper. Well, I say it's wallpaper. It's not actually wallpaper. So it's they're 2D, they're 3D plants, but they look flat. So if you put them against a flat surface, just let them grow, they will just sort of grow into that surface. Then if you reach out to touch them, turns out that they're 3D. I suppose the term that Toons would use is that they look as if they are in the background, but they are actually in the foreground, as it were. It's very neat. They are very cool, and I think that they've been the most useful and nicest thing I've found. At least out adventuring, I haven't really gone adventuring. I've sort of had other things to do other than adventure, but maybe one day I'll pick it up again when I'm not dealing with other things. Yes, that's the most exciting place I found a nice plant. A mansion in the middle of nowhere. Right. Oh god. Okay. Oh, for fuck's sake. What's up with your legs? Okay. Firstly, I'm not going to answer this question because I'm not going to have I'm not going to tell a stranger that. There are people I trust that don't even know what's going on down there. And I'm not going to just tell you, some random stranger, what's going on with the lower half of my body. My body, you don't have any right to know what's going on down there. Some people that I trust very dearly don't know. Then what makes you think I'm going to tell you? So, what's up with my legs? None of your fucking business. What? And also, how do you even know they're legs? You don't know what I have. You say I have legs. Are you sure about that? I could have anything. You don't know. So, what's top of my legs? You don't fucking know, and you don't get to know. Oh, goodness. Okay. Last one. Right, the last one is, what's your favourite colour? See, now that's a hard one, because I never really thought about having a favourite colour. Been told I look good in red and gold, like yellow and green and brown, the earthy tones and the bright tones. I have a fondness for orange and umber and on the occasion purple. Though I will admit, as of late I have become quite fond of blue. I'm not quite sure why, but my sari. I have a sari actually that's blue. I don't know why. It's just quite like it. It's rather neutral, I suppose. And in terms of what my favourite colour is, I don't really know. I suppose the primary is the red, blue, yellow, and green. Other than that, I don't really have a favourite. Okay, just checked, and I don't think I have any other questions. So if anyone is listening to this, thank you, I suppose, or not, I don't know. I hope if you're listening, you had some of your questions answered. And if you didn't, that's tough shit. Because I'm not sure if I'm going to do this again. This was a bit much. But it was interesting at least. Suppose I'll just say farewell and get going then.